Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for our next elimination match of the day. Easy for me to say. pLs Esports versus Complexity. I'm Rivington III here with Kobe 24, and one team is moving on. The other's going home, Kobe. Dreams are about to be dashed.
Again, we have another elimination round. 8 teams going to be going home crying today. Yeah. pLs has their back against the wall. We just saw that last game. It was brutal. It's always really frustrating when you lose to a strategy like that where you just can't grab your enemy.
Right.
It's not like you had a straight-up fight. Oh, you beat me, man. I lost. It was, you guys are running around. I can't catch. I can't even punch you, man. Like,
exactly.
There's nothing that they could do. So they really have to be careful right now and regroup and formulate their plans so that they don't get on tilt, because that is a huge thing, especially in an elimination match like this.
It was the factor of coming into the match. They did really well. We can't say pLs played bad. They like you said, their initiations on what a poke comp strategy is to be initiated on were perfect. You catch them in, you get in their face as fast as possible, but it was really all credit just going to the Brunch Club for being able to counter that once again as they figured out their strategy. So pLs, they're still definitely in this.
Yeah, I mean, we saw them counter it perfectly in that one-team fight. We had a hard engage from the Cataclysm. Jarvan got right in there, landed it with the Rupture on as well. MF Ultimate, and everything went beautifully. But then Brunch just started running around the map. Well,
they said, fool me once.
Exactly. Using
again.
I can't overstate it enough. The Sona max speed with the Jace acceleration gate was so much speed. They were unable to deal with it. Let's see if Complexity is going to use a similar strategy. I know that they weren't able to watch the game because they were playing. But if their manager or somebody was like, oh, hey, this works really well against pLs, then
this
maybe,
is what's happening.
Yeah, maybe they can do a quick strategy change right here.
So what do we know about Complexity coming into this one?
What I know about Complexity is that Captain America used to be their top lane, and I played against him a lot in solo queue. I run up against him. It's very frustrating. He used to always play Rumble, and he's an extremely aggressive top laner.
Does this make it hard for the jungler?
Yeah, like Rumble is a very frustrating champion to play against when you're a jungler because he's super aggressive early. So you're like, man, I really need to go gank that guy.
Yeah.
But his damage is AoE with that flame spitter. So if there's a counter gank that comes out, you're probably going to lose because he's doing AoE damage to both the top laner and your jungle. And so, yeah, I've had a lot of times where I run up against Captain America and got beat down because I can't contain, like, he's aggressive and I can't contain it. But they did. He left the team recently, and they replaced him. They got a new jungler or a new top laner who's a lot more passive, and so it kind of changed the style of Complexity.
It's what we've seen a lot of teams come into. Like Voidboy fits a little bit better with his aggressive style up on Curse. He's able to play those champions and help and assist the lanes with a little bit of utility, a little bit more once he pushes it in and feels comfortable. Yeah. So we'll have to see if that happens for Complexity. Anything else that we, out of the jungle, any specifics that we know about them right off the bat?
I mean, other than that, they've done decently well. I know that they lost their first game to Curse, but you can't really mark anybody down for that. I mean, everybody's pretty much generally accepting Curse as the big dog around house. So
they are.
Yeah.
So the first win definitively, so they are very calm. I remember, I was saying on the A stream that when we were doing interviews the other day, the interviewer that does them when we were sitting back and watching, he's like, you guys are very, very calm no matter what. These questions, you just answer them like there's nothing to it. And they're like, yeah, we've been doing this for a while, and if we don't win, actually, never mind, it's not something we thought of.
I'm pretty sure that he gave the 90% number there. Yeah. And that's like the highest percent that anyone was giving in interviews beside Marn, who of course gave 100%.
100%. And then, so which then the follow-up question, so what chances do the other teams have? And Marn says, well, obviously 0%. So apparently nobody else is going to make it according to Marn.
Marn's going to take all
the
5 spots.
Yeah.
They've got 1 spot for each person.
Yeah.
They're the only people going on to Season 3 here, apparently. But yeah, Complexity also very confident. So, I mean, that says a lot, and that's a good thing. People say you don't want to get arrogant and you don't want to underestimate your opponents, but it is good to be confident and have confidence in your own abilities and your own strategy so that you don't get flustered during the game.
And this is one of those teams that was kind of brought back again. Complexity's been known as an organization that's been around for a very long time. Like, the SKs and all the others that have just had almost every esport, been a part of, and all the great wins. So coming in there, having that what kind of team does Complexity bring to the table in the past and what they could do now?
I mean, definitely they're being sponsored by Complexity. They expect,
Top
a bit more from
Yes.
them. They expect them to perform well. And actually, the person who got the team together, he played WoW professionally for a Complexity team, and so that's how they got the connection to get sponsored. And so he has history in competitive online gaming. It's not League of Legends, but at least he's been through the nerves. He's been at a live event, and I can't overstate it enough. Like, if you've never experienced it before, the nerves at a live event are huge. Everyone always says that it's like, they're just going to play their game and whoever's better is going to win, but it's a huge factor into the game.
We just had Prolly on Stream 1 as we were talking to him doing the interviews, and he said, when I came to this team, I was the one with the most LAN experience. And the guys asked me questions. They were concerned, and he goes, that made me feel really good. The fact that they knew to be concerned, they knew that they did have those jitters, they would be worked out.
Yeah.
And he was like, it's awesome because I was able to give them that advice.
Yeah, probably is a great guy to have on your team regardless, too, because he's one of those guys who will always keep it upbeat.
Yeah. He is a great
guy. He's always being comical. He's trolling everyone, even during the matches, as long as you're ahead.
Of course.
That was just it's a huge factor. And pLs, I have to say, during the solo mid tournaments, we had them in for like a couple months back. We had them for a few repeating times when a lot of top teams were gone. They performed extremely well. So it's not that they don't have any experience. They have some good experience playing top teams. Like they played TSM. They've gone up against the big dogs in North America, and they're not scared either. So I think both of these teams are confident right now. Yeah. And like people are saying, this group is almost as it may even be worse than the Epic Gamer Fear group that everyone is calling the group of death. There's so much competition all over this entire tournament. It's hard to go away from.
It's crazy. And knowing some of these guys, the community knows them. Obviously, Nero, Cheesy Cookie, Chase on Fire, known for being a really great AD carry. That Ezreal play from him. Yeah. So these guys can definitely come in with some power. pLs coming off of, pretty good. Right?
Yeah.
They did good, but they didn't win. So, what does that – I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm just trying to figure what does that play for them? I never really got to see their interview, so I don't know their mentality. We saw Falafel Gaming surrender after 21 minutes and say, next game, please, let's just worry about that. These guys beat it out. They played the game, and we've actually – I forgot who it was. Oh, no, yeah, it was Legion. Legion played out the game to figure out how to beat CLG, how to beat that situation. They used that 75 minutes not to win. They were like, if we win, it's going to be badass. But right now, we're going to figure out what is the best way to stop this and do this for the next time it happens. And that could be something that pLs is coming away with from that last match.
That's a great point, especially since these are best of one matches. If they pull out some sneaky strategy, they can just blindside you. So you need as much time to prepare as you possibly can, even if it's during that previous game. Play as much as you can, stall out, try some things, see what's going to be able to work, and hopefully they've done their research, because research in best of one games means everything. If you know that one little strategy about these guys, then that can mean everything. It's just like we saw last game. The level one, they knew that they were going to do that sneaky level one
strat top.
They tried it. They thought they was going to go top. They warded it. He actually sent Mystic Shot into the bush. Oh, I just reminded myself of LEB's face check. We talked so good about him. We were like, yeah, his reaction times are great. Those crescendos are great. Oh, wait, didn't he feed first blood by face checking? Like, he's double lift 2.0.
He pulled out of it. It's all right.
Yeah, you
got to face check at some point.
Yeah. I mean, everybody does. You're just so curious. What's going on in there?
One of my favorite things is, you buy a Doran's Blade and you go back to lane and you think, your first shot's going to kill the person. You're like, I got to see how much damage this is going to do. Then you do it and you're like, and their jungler and mid are there. Shit. Yeah. You're just taken out.
You're like, look at my shiny new items. I'm so confident right now.
I got shinies.
Let me stab you with this. Oh, dang it. Yeah, that's too bad. But this should be a great matchup. Like I said, both confident teams, and that makes me confident that it's going to be a good match. I don't feel like this is going to be a stomp either way.
So do we know much about Rainey's? We've seen Kenneth play, plays that Rise, knows how to do it. What about Rainey's?
I mean, it should be a good matchup. I'm not quite sure what his mains are. I haven't seen him play any games. Because this Complexity team has been in the solo mid, and that's pretty much all I have time for because I'm working full time. But I have a lot of faith in Kenneth. Like, I've seen him play a lot. He plays a lot of different APs. His champion pool is really large. So whatever strategy they want to adapt for this complexity team, he can make it happen. They can switch around. They can do a 2-versus-1 mid. They can switch around really easily. So that's one of the very important things in Season 3 is your ability to adapt. Because especially as we've seen the Koreans do, they can throw anything at you. You'll have a 3-on-1 lane maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
You can have a jungler camping your lane for like 3 minutes straight, and you just want them to go back to the jungle, but no, they've got a 3-on-1. So anything to get those early towers, any kind of early advantage that you can get, it can come out. And this is the time to bring those out because it's a best of 1.
So coming in, let's see, what else do we have? We have, Onion Bagel went on to Jarvan last game.
Oh, man.
With these, it's not something that happens often in a tournament. With these teams playing back-to-back, you just use the same comps over again. Nobody's going to come up to you and be like, this is what they did. Because you don't know how it played. You don't know what they really did. Like the composition where they had Twitch in the back line with Katarina, Nunu, and Mumu, somebody may see that and be like, sweet, they're pinning them down so Twitch can just tear the team. But it was really Twitch to make them squishy, and then Katarina gets a bunch of resets. So it's like these fights, they can be seeing what was picked, but they're not going to know how it was played.
Yeah, and so something like Halfer's buying a level 1 pink ward and pink warding his own Tribush so that Jarvan can come in for that gank, they can just pull that off again.
Yeah.
And, I mean, when something like that does happen, if you're top lane and the other top lane are pink wards your Tribush to get rid of your ward, you're like, oh, I'm pretty sure they're going to gank right now. He just killed that ward. So you should probably back off a little bit. But, yeah, that's just going to be down to player. But, yeah, Onion Bagel did a great job. He was all around the map. It was just they couldn't catch him in the end game there. The speed buffs were way too much.
It was really good, and it made sense of why they didn't have any slows, because they wanted the chase to continue. They wanted it to make it look like it was a good chase and get those pokes in. You slow somebody, and they're like, oh, yeah, let's disengage. We can't
Dangling them along with the little carrot.
Hang the carrot
Come
out.
eat this Sona. She's so squishy.
Bye-bye.
Nope. Too bad for you.
We're waiting on just a few more players from Complexity now as they get their gadgets set up. We really got it's just a streamlined way of doing it. I think it's really cool. All the guys' stuff is set and saved, and you don't have to get in there and be like, wait, I have these settings. They're like, bam, bam, I'm X Hazard. What's up? Let's play.
That's one of the neatest things.
That's so cool.
It's come so long since I played. When I came to see you guys in LA, we took hours setting up our rune pages. We're like, okay, I need to buy this page. I need to buy this page. Dan Din actually would run out of IP. You'd give each computer like 5 million IP to buy all the runes that we wanted.
He finds it.
Dan would come back in like 5 minutes. Hey, I'm out of IP, guys. I need every rune. I need every single rune. I don't know what I'm gonna play. And you're like, really? And he's like, yes, I'm ready. I play every champion. What's up? And we're like, oh, okay. But now you guys have it automated. That's great. All you have to do is click on your name. Bam, you've got everything. And I have to say, the studio that you've built is amazing as well. You've got room for 2 sets to go on at the same time. It's a really nice setup.
Well, we're glad you could be here.
Me too.
So it looks like the match may be underway quite soon, ladies and gentlemen. We have just jumped into Champion Select Elimination Match. It is now the 3rd group of the day. We have 1 more to go. It has been long, a waiting day, but it has been a great one filled with amazing matches. Kobe, we don't know much about Complexity coming in here other than that the Curse game was very definitive. Most people thought it would be, so that's not really anything of a wow. We'll have to see what they can really bring out here against a team that hasn't had 2.5 years to really bolster themselves.
Yeah, having seen how much homework they did in the last match, I'm expecting some targeted bans here, actually. I mean, Kha'Zix is a general ban. Of course, everybody knows he's really strong right now.
Perfect.
You're going to want to get him off the field. But there should probably be a few, maybe at the end there. Yeah, Twisted Fate. That's a global presence that you want to get off the mat. One of the really strong mid laners right now. I mean, besides Evelynn, it's one of the most viable mid laners. A lot of the APs have fallen out of style with the rise of the AD casters.
Yeah, it really has. Twisted Fate's one of those guys that'll say, hey, pick lanes that are great at farming, and when we want to initiate when I'm 6, we'll just take out the lane.
That's why in solo queue, I love playing like bottom lane or something when you have a Twisted Fate middle, because you're like, oh, I could just like play Vayne or something, and then I'll just wait till my mid lane 6 and I automatically get a free gank there. You can get ahead and you just snowball so hard. It's so hard to stop him. He can shove a lane and then leak down bottom. Looks like they did do the homework.
They did.
Maybe their manager was watching. They banned out the Rise.
Great call. Yeah, they do ban out the Rise. That crowd control is just a little too much as well for that last fight.
He did. He turned into the machine gun. He was just firing all of his spells off, constant rotation there. He got tanky as well in the end game. He stacked up his mana first, so he was doing great damage. We saw him almost burst down that Ezreal in the 1-on-1 bottom.
1v1.
And then during the end game, he can finish the Frozen Heart. He can grab up a couple Negatron cloaks. Yep. There's your third tank right there, who also deals massive damage.
AP's focus from complexity. That's very surprising.
They want to ban out Kenneth. And like I said, he plays a lot of AP mids. He's not that big on the AD casters. He may have something in his back pocket, though. Maybe he's baiting it out here, and he knows what if he pulls out a Pantheon? Super aggressive. We saw that already once in this tournament, and he can literally one-shot at the end of the game there with that. Yeah.
You know, I'm interested to see what Curse played in their matchup because, like you said, not a lot of, but some of the AP players now coming into Season 3 still haven't, kind of transferred over to the AD caster play. And I remember in Nijaki's interview, he was saying, I was off on Christmas break and I realized that, a lot of the changes were there, so I want to expand my pool, and I brought a few of those AD casters in there. And I was like, badass.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And they definitely have him under a strict training regimen. Yeah. They're like, this is good now. You need to learn this now. If you don't learn something that Saint wants you to learn, you're gonna get a spanking.
You're spanking from Saint. So we have the Olaf pick going in. That is going to be very nice for the top lane. Hafer is to play that unless it goes in the jungle.
Yep.
To Onion Bagel and Taster's Choice right off the bat.
The Wombo combo, if there is one right now, that would be it. We've seen it to great effect in the Korean leagues, and it's been adopted very quickly over here in North America. I mean, Black Cleaver should be coming out immediately on Misfortune. I expect that to be her first big item. As soon as they get that, team fights, team fights, team fights. They'll force dragons. They'll siege up around turrets.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Just team fights all over the day. It's good that they already had Olaf picked first because he's one of the few. Turn on that Ragnarok. You can ignore the Mumu ultimate.
Yeah.
Run straight at MF. He needs to get some damage on her. Maybe he can scare her. Stop doing Bullet Storm. Like, do enough damage before, just to interrupt her. But Tarek, again, getting picked up. That armor ore is going to be great because they know they're going to be taking a lot of AoE attack damage from that Misfortune ultimate.
Oh, wow. And the synergizing ultimates possibly from Shanna Mumu.
Ooh.
Switch over, so it looks like a little more of a fight comp damage over time there. Tarek adding a little bit of more fight presence coming in for Pulse, but other than that, these picks are pretty much normal.
Yeah, switching from Shen to Renekton gives you your lane presence. Is just like, you're trading off the late game option for split pushing for that giant lane presence that Renekton gives. Renekton is a bully in that lane, and with the changes to the Season 3 itemization, they're going to switch back. Yeah, they actually want to go with the global. Yeah. He was fainting with that Renekton. He was like, hey, I can crush you with this alligator so hard. But, okay.
Well, it makes sense. It makes sense with the Lulu consideration of a gigantic lizard running at you.
Yeah, that would be extremely scary. Even I would be think twice before engaging on that.
The new Nocturne skin ulti still is just like, it just scares the crap out of you.
I love that.
They did a really good job on that.
And Lulu combo with Shen as well.
Right.
If you ultimate on someone who just got wild growth, that's a huge amount of HP you're giving them. They jump up too, so it's going to be a great knock-up, a huge CC. Whatever target is going to be focused by Pulse, Complexity has so many answers for it. They have shield. She even has another shield even in Lulu, so they've got plenty of answers. It's a hugely tanky team right now for Complexity, and their only real damage right now is coming from MF, so they really need a very high damage mid champion.
It looks like they're going for quite a bit of AD here on Pulse Esports, and they choose what is pretty much an all-in.
Finally, the coL. I've been waiting all tournament for this, dude. I'm so excited right now. The changes to coL, or the changes in Season 3, where we get the percentage damage taken before flat penetration, works so well with coL because her passive stacks up percentage-based penetration. You get it 15% for free, your whole team. And it just works so well in this new patch because everyone can just buy flat penetration and you already have the percentages, so you get down to that true damage way quicker than you think. And that's why the Koreans were so successful with that AP coL mid. If you just get attack speed with her, you're gonna be applying this percentage reduction, and everybody's gonna be able to take advantage because it's both armor reduction and magic resistance reduction.
Really, it comes down to the numbers. You see those posts on Reddit. He's like, here's the thing about math. And you're like, hot damn, he's right.
You skip to the end and say, which one's better?
TLDR, please. So we see Katarina on the board, which really, it leaves it up for the reset all day long. This looks like the composition just without Twitch. They kind of obviously have different supports going through, but the Amumu jump on Katarina. Shen can ult either one of them in trouble. And bam, you just finish it off with the reset.
Yeah, like I said, they needed a high damage AP mid.
Yeah.
That is the high damage AP mid. So you bring Katarina in. That's a huge amount of boost to their damage output. And it's going to be AoE, though. If they mess up the timing on this team comp, I have to say, it can go completely wrong. Because after the ultimate from MF and Katarina, if they don't get a kill, there's no reset, they're going to be extremely starved for damage. Amumu pretty much has to go tanky now. That we don't see those Azingi AP terrors that we used to see. So it's probably not going to be a lot of damage coming from Amumu. And Shen is going to have to build beefy so that he can split push late game. So it's really going to have to be a well executed. I mean, it looks like just a push R to win comp. Yeah. But if you don't do that at the right time, then you're going to fail, and it will just all crumble on itself.
I look at this team, I look at pLs Esports, and I think of them just in mid lane in a fight, and they're scattered. They're everywhere. kaol can speed herself up. Ezreal's out of that fight. They have so much to just be like, nope, not just yet, and then catch back up. The Olaf undertow, Xin jumping into the gap closer, kaol slowing as well. They have so many ways to just kind of be chaos in a fight and not get into that area of effect that coL wants.
That's exactly what they want to do. And if Amumu only catches out one or two people, then the kaol ultimate's going to shield one of those for the entire time. Only one person dies and both of your AoE combos are blown, then they have a great chance.
You have the double save. Didn't even consider that wild growth and kaol ult.
Well,
on the other team. Okay, so no, you didn't. I was just getting too excited. I'm like, whoa, this matches. Like, I'm going to say it so that it doesn't match. I'll just have the dream about it tonight and be like, yeah, I was right. I was right. I was right. Okay.
Then you'll have one of those giant golden balls around you. It'll just be floating around in this Zen-like sphere. Perfect.
So coming into the game, Complexity versus pLs Esports elimination match of Group C. And we are going to see what these guys can do. The third group of the day playing through.
Look at the potions on this map. Everybody starting with mass potions except for the AD carries. I feel like there's like some loony doctor out on Summoner's Rift that's just handing out prescriptions. Oh, you want some health potions? Hell, take 10 of them. Grab a couple wards, you'll be fine. Protect you from the jungle.
They do have quite a bit, and we see actually 9 for Katarina and 2 wards as well. Wow, yeah, everybody met the same guy before this game.
Wards and potion.
Scalping potions outside SR.
All right, so we have Taric up top right now with Ezreal. pLs before, they were the ones with that 3-man level 1 gank strat that they tried to get off. It looks like they're not going to try and do it this time, though. Xin Zhao's heading bottom. They got some defensive wards up. They're assuming that the manager or someone maybe have been watching that last game, so they're not going to try that.
The Rise ban was there, you know.
Yeah, that's a good tip-off right there, the Rise ban, so they don't want to chance it. They're giving Complexity some respect. They think that they've done their homework, and they know what's coming.
Very true. But they're going to get the Vorpal Blade down, heal up Amumu a little bit. So nice when they take the Wraith, but, ooh, Ezreal and Taric moving in here. It looks like they will get the sneak down.
This is a very nice strategy that I first saw done by solo mid, but I'm pretty sure they got it from someone else because they don't usually come up with that thing by themselves. But Chaos and Xpecial execute it perfectly. They go in with just the AD carry and the support, do some counter jungling of their own. Red buff if you can, Wraiths if you can't. They end up getting the red buff, and that is amazing on Ezreal. One of the most annoying things in the game because his Mystic Shock does proc on hit effects. They do see Lulu in a bad position here. There's no dazzle because he started shatter for the engage right there, so it wasn't too big of a threat, and they actually just walk away.
So in the beginning of that, I don't really know who called it. They did give Olaf blue, which is going to be awesome for him down bottom versus the energy of Shen. But yeah, they went straight top. They kind of both called the lane swap.
Yeah, and what's interesting about giving him that, oh, his red was stolen. There's going to be the meat of the jungles.
Yep, they went in there to steal that before as they were going around to the bottom side. Oh, cheese fire. Almost, or Chase on fire, Cheesy fire. Too much cheese and Chase down in the bottom lane. They both get out with 200 HP.
Cheesy, chasey, cookie fire. That's like some kind of ridiculous s'more. That would be delicious.
I want one. I want one. So good pressure in the top lane early. The blue buff is just allowing the max undertow. Oh wow, that's painful right there. Kennick in mid, 10 to 9. No real definitive win, either not win, but advantage, I should say. And there you can see the damage trade though in favor of Kennick.
As soon as you hit 2 on coL, you can go very aggressive because the combo with her Q and turning on the E is unlimited harass on a Katarina who doesn't have range. And again, Onion Bagel going very aggressive.
Very hard here. Nero is actually trying to hold him in. Katarina's coming around. He kind of puts the minions in between. So they both take a little bit of damage there, but blue buff stays on him. Great read there from Reigns to come back and help.
Yeah, Nero actually used his Bandit Shot just before that Wraith died, so it hit the Wraith. They didn't get the stun onto Onion Bagel, weren't able to follow that back up. Ooh. But another contest there, and Amumu's going to have to second guess every single buff he takes now because Xin Zhao could be right behind him.
It's obviously not the lane for Pulse, but Chase on fire went to help with that. Xin Zhao on the bottom. Actually, Cheesy Cookie getting caught out here. They're going to be able to focus onto Castro. Oh. That's not somebody who focused. We talked about being able to focus Sona as a support, but it's a little bit different with that Lulu. You're going to go 1-for-1. That's what we just saw. Coming around the backside, Amumu just a little too late to the party, but coL's coming up as well. If Tarek can keep him there, it's going to be that 1-on-2 until Amumu can get in. Amumu sees it. He hasn't turned yet. He is coming back to slow and to Chase on fire. Nero may not be able to help here. Tarek have to flash out. I think he could have been in the fight a little bit longer to help coL, and what would have been a kill there, they come up with one for themselves.
Oh my goodness, MF barely eking that one out. Wow. And the kill, I have to say, that they got onto Lulu for that first blood didn't have to go that way. Lulu was just a little bit too headstrong there, running straight up with Ezreal. MF that whole time had plenty of health. She could have taken care of it herself, but they did end up giving away that first blood. They get 2 kills for it. So it's pretty much an even trade, and the gold is about even right now. Only 200 advantage.
As we look at this, 24 CS to 15 CS, now 17 for MF, and that was because, as I was saying before that fight happened, MF and Lulu both left lane as they were coming back after being pushed out, so they lost even more CS in that lane. That fight definitely helps them, and it needed to happen because the aggression from Kennick was a little bit more once again as the ADs finally returned to lane with their supports. And the junglers now exiting the base for the jungle, so we're going to see a little bit of a lull within the action unless the lanes go aggressive. Kobe, looking at this lane up top, you got MF that can double up and Lulu for poke, but do you really want to go hard on Ez and Tarek?
No, you don't want to, because next time that he lands a Dazzle, both flashes for MF and Lulu are down, so it's going to be bad news if they do.
Dazzle maybe writes it out because Onion Bagel's just on the backside. A beautiful dash in. It looks like they capitalize on a kill with the exhaust there, and beautiful, leaving it for Castro to just pick up.
Yeah, that was perfect.
Yeah.
Just as we were saying, there's no flashes left. You're in trouble. Oh, Nero!
Nero trying to come in on this one. He does have him down to 250 HP. It's not enough damage.
Yeah, can't tower dive that. It's a little bit too early. Don't want to do. Oh my goodness, they're going to finish Lulu.
Fourth, they will. The red buff is on. Lulu's trying to get that down. There it is. They give it to Sneaky Castro. Wasn't really a leave off there, but so good for them right now. 3-2, 2K gold lead.
That's still that same first red buff that they stole in the first place. Gave it to MF, took it right back, and they get a couple kills with it.
Yeah.
So that thing has been just murder. Whoever's got it has a curse on them. You're going to probably die soon.
Oh,
Sneaky Crash should probably hope that runs out, actually.
Chase on fire just on the outside of that bush waiting for MF.
Yeah. Oh, Onion Bagel wants another gank. Solo gank right here.
Going in on this one. The Talon Strike hits, and it's going to be one more attack. Oh, poke. That's the end of a spear.
That's the end of his spear. Oh, you can hear the moan from MF right there.
She's not having it.
She's definitely in pain. Oh my goodness. I feel bad for that top lane now.
Oh no.
Again.
Cookie comes back to lane only to go down. How unfortunate. No, the Shen.
No.
Oh, super save. There you go.
All right, Shen is able to stop that bleeding top. They they get a band-aid over it. And Onion Bagel, please finally leave the top lane. That's what Complexity is thinking. You've done enough here.
You said it, man. You just sit in lane forever. You just said it before the game. They will do it.
Yep. Onion Bagel, that's going to happen every time. Oh, another Dazzler is going to happen, but that's just going to be some harass.
Yep.
They want to punish Shen. Don't come to our lane. Next time you're going to have to think twice before ulting in here.
Mumu, Nero forced into his jungle, 26-28. He's down 1 on the assists and down 1 on the kills. So a little bit of a lead, especially in the factor of the Madrids. Now, is Xin also somebody that wants to fully put that to the river?
Yes, I mean, when he benefits greatly as well from lifesteal. So
of course,
yeah. So you want to get that, you want that lifesteal, and you also want the free wards. Like I said, the vision is key right now. But it's also said they got a free lane swap with that Shen ultimate. So now it's going to be MF and Lulu bottom. A little bit of alone time with Halfers, who did actually, again, go with the pink ward level 1. He used it already, and it's been used up. It's been disappeared, and there was no ganks bottom because there was so much action top. But I have to say, he used the exact same strategy twice.
This is quite interesting. Usually you don't see the ADs switch back with the support on the swap lane until the tower is taken, but it seems like Complexity just knows they can't handle that top lane.
It was that Shen ultimate. They were in the perfect place. They're just like, whatever, we'll take advantage of this. It'll give us a slight CS advantage if they do end up switching back to us as well. And it looks like Tarek and Ezreal might even be content to go back top lane and face off against this Shen, turning it into a 2 versus 1. Olaf is amazing at 2 versus 1. He can spam those undertows. It's great at wave clearing. He can protect a tower all day, and he can also get plenty of CS. And it means, Nero just hit level 6. I love it. The Mumu ganks at level 6 are amazing. He's got his flash up. I want to see some action from him.
They are focusing that top, making sure his red's not getting invaded. They put a lot of pressure just on that for him to get it. So they know that the game is being dictated by pulls. They have to make all the right decisions, and they're moving power in numbers to stay safe. Nobody's really pressuring for a gank here. The far out wards coming from Tarek. He's going to go double down on those. So the top lane, still, they're able to pressure that aggression. Great warding. Yeah,
look at all the wards here. Blue's got the entire river warded all the way from bottom up to top. It's going to be so hard for Nero to make use of his cooldowns. He wants so badly to be able to use his flash and ultimate, but the ward coverage is just ridiculous right now from Pulse. The only way for him to sneak in would be a bottom lane bush gank.
There's the attack almost under the turret. Halfers undertowing, as you said, just continuously throwing that out, and he is doing better. 71-44 CS, even though those top laners were facing off against each other as the swap was mutual from both teams. He's still come out on top, even in the 1v1.
Yeah, and Nero's not even going to bottom going down there because Olaf's level 6. Right. You're just going to waste your CC. He's got Ragnarok. I feel kind of bad for this sad mummy. It makes me a little sad, too. But
so, not as many wards bottom, so they might be able to capitalize on one kill here, but yeah, Ragnarok.
Look at that top lane. That's going to be painful coming up soon.
Oh, yeah. They are backing out right now. Grim Samurai says, I see 2 on the map, and that means I get to leave. Oh, no, he's going to walk into Xin. I don't think there's enough damage there with his shield from Jen, and they are able to get some global gold for the team. However, that is going to be a dragon focus.
Great answer. That's exactly what they need to do. You can't contest the power right now from Pulse, so you just take the opposite objective. That's 1K gold global for both teams. The only thing is they're pushing in for a second tower. They're still hungry.
So they got that first one. The dragon counters that. They pull the upper hand out with this one, Kobe. They made sure, they said, yeah, you tried to get one over on us. We'll do one better. 4-2 at almost 12 minutes. The gold lead is 3K, and still so much anybody's game.
They're making Complexity finally return to base. Complexity thought that they could also push down this middle turret and maybe get that other 1,000 global gold back, but Pulse was fainting at pushing on an inhibitor turret already 12 minutes into the game, and they could have taken it if they didn't recall.
No, it's absolutely incredible. Last game we saw all outer turrets of one team taken down in 10 minutes, and it looks like Pulse has just said, let's go down one lane, and they chose that top lane. Going at the Nexus, usually not something that's talked about too much. The middle lane is actually the hardest one to take and go to the Nexus. Once you get those outer ones, you're only attacked by one Nexus turret. You do have to take a longer path, but it's actually the easier way, so it's interesting to see that they push that so hard, and it's also right after Baron, they can trail off of that top lane.
Yeah, that would be perfect. And they have a good team comp right now as well, actually, Pulse, so they could force one of these teams fights. I mean, Amumu's ultimate is up. Shen's ultimate is up. MF's ultimate is up. So if Complexity wants a team fight, which they really need to win to get back in this, they should do it right now.
Oh, he misses the bandage toss. I think they heard you, man. Your crystal ball was fogging up, and they were like, yeah, let's do it. I feel it, premonition.
They have everything at their disposal right now. You see all the flashes even are up. The summoners, every single one.
Yeah, that's perfect fighting. Everybody's is up. This is going to be a bloodbath.
It
we have
is.
Samurai going back, but like we said, Stand United is up. They're going to go ahead and grab blue, getting all the advantages they can, and they're even being contested here. Still from that second blue grab they had, they were contested on it.
Yeah, and it's a great thing about having that manaless mid. Amumu gets to take the blue. It's actually really strong in him. He gets the cooldown reduction for his ultimate. If he does end up using it for a team fight here, it'll be back up again, and he won't be just that bandage toss machine that he turns into without his ultimate. And that being said, they aren't able to force anything quick enough here, and pulse taking another outer turret.
Mumu needs to get a little bit more tanky. His build is for, I want to initiate for you guys. He's got the Moby boots, he's trying to move fast, and he's got his blue buff still. We're really looking to capitalize on these. Kale with that blue buff in mid. Pretty good at stopping sieges with that AoE, and it looks like they could go on to Nero here. A little bit of damage, and they're going to let him go.
Yeah, and both of those top solo laners, the Olaf and the Shen, went with the first item, Giant Spell. No boots, I don't need that, I need health. I need health, and I need it now. Olaf's even already turned his into a War Monk, so he's got even more on top of that. Shen went with a little bit of armor there, turning his actually into the Sunfire Cape so that he can split push a little faster.
That is going to be effective for them. As right now his split push is meant to stop one.
Whoa.
It's going to be the Kale ultimate going down. That Lulu slow is not going to let them capitalize on a full kill here. But yeah, very much so. Whoa. That means that Pulse has to be careful about this next engagement because they don't have that save if somebody gets caught in the move.
That's the only cooldown that's burned right now.
There's another
Sin.
ulti.
Oh my goodness.
Man.
The cooldowns are just getting ticked off right here for Pulse.
They're working them. We have Olaf up top pushing in that lane, so the split pushers are forced to face off against each other, and it's Sin and Kale in mid. There's a triple split or double split push going on right now.
Yep, Pulse doing plenty of work on this bottom one. They actually are up at the base on both sides of these towers, while the mid turret, the outer one, is still up.
And this isn't really even being stopped top. You know, he's getting damage on and he's still pushing. He's not being forced back, so they can do whatever they want. And even as two, they feel super comfortable. Yeah. Oh no, he comes in a beautiful bandage toss at max range. Kennick goes down. Can they follow on Onion Bagel? The reset comes up and it goes to MF. Wow. Prompts to Niero for a great grab.
Yeah, and that was the perfect time to do it because you can see Olaf has no mana up top, so even if he teleported down there, he would just be running around auto-attacking people, and he, oh no, the Mumu gets caught, the Ignite.
Wow. That Ignite was just ticking down. Samurai trying to taunt in. Can they get the grab down here? The Dazzle's going to come up. There's really no mana on anybody right now, especially Katarina.
They really just, especially Katarina. What is she doing running around? But through all that, they're just trying to keep Complexity from recalling, because look at the work that Halfers has been able to do on this top turret. He's gone to town on that thing. It is hurting already, under half health. It's definitely exposed. They continue pushing all lanes right now.
Cheesy Cookie getting caught right there. The burst could just be too much. One last shot. May not have needed the exhaust, but you know what? They're ahead right now. They know they're not going to fight until that's back up. They're playing very cautious.
This is the Pulse I remember from the mid-season of solo mid tournaments. Their team fighting is just amazing. They have great calls and strategies.
Still going under the turret here. We can see them taking him out. Niero goes down. The turret was there, but it did not matter one bit. A double kill for Kale, and you can see the effectiveness of that build.
Yeah, and that's an easy tower dive. Whenever you have a Kale ultimate, you can just burn it. Whoever is getting focused by the turret. Now they have got a numbers advantage, so they're just going to head back in.
Grim Samurai trying to do it. This is the I think I can mentality, guys. I'll try to stop it, but you turn the next page and it's another I think I can, and another person goes down. It's a book you have to close right away because it gets ended quickly. They are going to be dropping this next inhibitor, guys, and it is a big matchup, an elimination match for these two teams, Pulse Esports versus Complexity, and they are trying to make a name for themselves here to go on to day 2.
It's interesting how Pulse has been able to turn it around. Last game, they lost out to the speed buff and the map control. Right. They were not in the right places at the right time, so that they were getting split push. This time, it's Pulse, pushing all lanes at once. They're everywhere they need to be. Halfer's making great use of his teleport, and they are rewarded with an inhibitor very early in this game. Only 17 minutes. Oh, Onion Bagel with the... amazing
throws
juke.
Down the curse of the Sad Mummy. This should be a kill, and that should have that damage, but they are going to trade it back and forth. Ezreal's on the other side. doing free damage right now, and they are going to be able to take out Onion Bagel. That double buff is in the eyes of them. A beautiful undertow to drop them, and this is surely an initiation. Ezreal's very low on mana, but it's going to be coL. They go to taunt the invincible coL, and it looks like it could be a cleanup here. Haffer's doing very well for his team with a double kill. Niero's the focus. It is going to be Ezreal's as they clean up and finalize the ace. I think almost everybody got a kill there.
Yeah, they caught Onion Bagel.
Right.
They had a nice meal there, and then they got aced for it. Like, that's not worth it.
It happens, man. It depends on how much you like onion bagels.
When you're craving an onion bagel, maybe that's just all you really care about. Everybody dies for it. It was worth it. Just somebody type in chat right now. Yeah, worth. There we go.
Got it. So now a pushing on here. MF finally up. They're coming up off the 1 second spawns from the death chamber, and really reconsidering here, pulling up back in the inventory. We see some bloodthirsters out, a few of those finalized and finished items, but more so, 4 wards.
Yes.
They want to get back into their own jungle.
Exactly. And they're going to have a hard time of even doing that right now.
Look at this. Look at that vision. That is incredible.
If we had
6 wards. There's 2 in the mid lane. There's 1 on each turret. It's like they're their own turrets.
I'd like to see one of those time lapses of Pulse's wards over time over the course of this game. They slowly encroach on the purple side jungle there. They start at the river. They get farther in, farther in. Now they're already up inside the base even.
Yeah, top right, man.
Yeah, we've got 2 inside the base.
So next time it'll be past these trees. We get some inhibitors here. We'll fill up the doily in the middle of the base.
Ward up that fountain, baby. That's game over.
That's the way you do it. Make sure you can see him at all. So just really, it's Pulse waiting for Complexity to make a mistake here. You can see they're doing everything they want. A solo dragon coming in. They're not trying Baron. They have a definitive lead, and they don't want a chance of silly fight.
I like that play because this team comp from Complexity is still scary. The AoE threat from them inside Baron Pit would be devastation no matter how much gold they're behind. If you're able to have a Mumu flash in, get 5 people with a Bullet Storm, Katarina cleans up, I can see it in my mind right now. It would be an amazing comeback for Complexity if Pulse were so foolish as to start up a Baron. Doesn't look like it.
It's kind of happening the way I envisioned it. Obviously not perfectly, but they are all scattered when the initiation happens. If the bandage toss hits, it's that one person that can get coL ulted, or the bandage toss misses, because there is so much just movement of this team. They can be in any position to engage the fight. It doesn't have to be head up.
I like how Kenneth is actually going with the exact AP coL build that the Koreans used. He rushed the Nashor's Tooth, and then he got the spell penetration. Hurting a whole bunch from the early Olaf push that they had.
And as they do move in here, Sneaky Castro with that double of on still going to be effectively able to stick him in the fight. It's a great bandage or Curse of the Sad Mummy. They were all in it, but where's the rest of the team? They weren't able to capitalize off of it, and Chase on Fire is forced to just watch them take down the first inhibitor turret. Ladies and gentlemen, Complexity possibly being eliminated here. The Wild Growth not in time, and Kobe 24, it looks like Pulse Esports, an esports organization that has been around a long time, can still bring up those teams to make the impact plays, and they find themselves a spot in day 2 here, and a look at that Season 3 contract.
A well-deserved win right there, too. They played that perfectly. It looked bad, the AoE team comp, but they did not fall into that. They stayed spread out. They pushed multiple lanes. They were able to split push against a Shen team. Very, very admirable play right there.
And a great job coming out. Again, we kind of see the Ezreal build going for the static Shiv twice in a row now, and really not trying to win his lane just off of that phage, off of the big procs in the beginning and harassing your lane. So very cool from the Ezreals coming out. I like what I'm seeing, these Season 3 items being used now.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get better. You know, now we finally see coL bridging over to the North America scene. That Korean play was amazing, and you can see just how effective it is with quite low-cost items.
Yeah, and I love seeing Static Shift used to its full potential, because that's what you want to use it for, is wave clearing. They were split pushing, so they had
split pushing.
so they had Ezreal, and he needed to clear those waves as quickly as possible.
Yep.
Perfect item right there, exactly what he needed, and it worked out great for them. Just well-executed play overall. They were able to come back from that defeat.
Right.
They're not eliminated. Can't say the same for Complexity. Great fight from those guys. They showed up big, but they're eliminated.
It was tough for Complexity. They're a very all-in initiation team, and if everybody wasn't there at the same time, or like 0 and 4 lane, a Lulu can still wild growth you, and it's still going to do that amount of damage over an ignite or whatnot. But you don't yourself have the levels. You don't yourself have the health, so that shield's only going to help so much.
Yeah.
And like you said, not that it was gimmicky, but if they didn't hit their ults very AoE consistently, then it was easy to walk out of.
Timing based, and they have to execute it perfectly, or else it's not going to work.
Right.
And they never got a chance to force those early 5-on-5 fights, because they had so much ward coverage there from Pulse, like we were talking about from the very beginning. They just had a line of wards all across the river, and it slowly marched up. There was just no in for Amumu. He couldn't get anywhere. No ganks were coming off, and they weren't able to force dragons.
That's what you have to do, and they did a great job of getting in the jungle and stopping Amumu, because Amumu is one of those huge factors that is the game. And look at, he didn't even finish one of his Spirit Stones. Moby Boots and a Haunting Guise. When's the last time you saw Haunting Guise on Amumu?
Extremely squishy. Yeah. I mean, that's an Azingy thing right there. I mean,
All right, guys. So, Riv and Kobe bringing you that matchup. Pulse moving on as Complexity goes home, and we're going to be jumping over to Stream A as we give it to those guys right now.
Pushing forward. You can see there's going to be the blue buff